Hey everybody, stick around because in this video, well, actually if you read the title, maybe don't stick around. Thanks for clicking on this video and taking a chance even though the title tells you to do otherwise. So here we are in the middle of the worst winter storm to hit my area in probably a couple of decades. There are plenty of areas out there that are much harder hit than mine, but I find myself in the middle of all this realizing that I have screwed up. So I'm out here in my garage tonight shooting this video because I've got to do some work on a generator. So I know some of you are probably sitting back going, in the middle of a disaster brought on by bad weather, probably not the best time to be working on your generator. Shouldn't you have done that before? The answer to your question is yes, I should have. But I didn't. A little while back we had a power outage, and while they're not uncommon in my area, they don't tend to last very long. But this particular one did. It lasted for a pretty good while, to the point that I was starting to get concerned about how long I would be without power. So I broke out my little generator. I got a generator a few years ago on a barter. I've not had to really use it that much since I got it, but I try to get it out every once in a while, crank it up, make sure it's still running, change out the gas and do those kind of things. So the power outage comes along and I get the generator out, fire it up, and suddenly realize I've got a very active fuel leak. I've got gasoline pouring out of this thing. It's a major fire hazard, so I shut it down, put the generator away, and never did go back and revisit that. I should have fixed it as soon as I realized there was a problem, but I didn't. I went on to other things and completely forgot about it. Here we are in the middle of this snowpocalypse, and while I was very fortunate that I didn't lose power, if I had, I would have been kicking myself. I would have been out in 5-degree weather trying to work on this generator to get it working just so I could have basic functions in my house. I am ashamed of myself to have to say that I did not prepare for this. Now the problem is, that wasn't my only mistake. In addition to not having the generator ready, when the storm hit, I went to go get my Mr. Heater Buddy out of the Airstream where I normally store that with some of my other camping gear, and I couldn't get the door open. It was frozen solid. I went out and tried to thaw it out, to no avail. That door was not coming open. Things that I needed in the event that I lost power in the house and had to provide heat were locked up in a place I could not access. Screw up number 2. Screw up number 3 is that even though we had a little bit of warning for this storm, we knew it was coming, I let personal responsibilities and other things get in the way of taking a little bit of time to go get things that I needed. The storm hit and I did not have any kind of de-icing salts to put on my sidewalk and on my driveway. I didn't have windshield de-icer to put in our cars. There were so many things that I realized at the last minute I did not have. I didn't have a fresh stockpile of water. All over the country right now, there are places that do not have access to fresh water. Even in our neighboring communities, there are boil orders going out because of problems with the water systems related to this storm. Now, I do have some water stored, but I have not checked that recently. I have not updated my stocks. I have not gone and gotten cases of fresh, new bottled water to be able to use for my family. I have screwed up all the way around. Here I am having a YouTube channel about prepping, and I missed some very basic preps for a major weather event. Fortunately, I didn't need any of it. We never lost power. Our local water company has not had to issue any boil orders. We are not limited in how much water we can use. We're doing just fine, but it could have been a very different story. And my personal failures would have really come home to roost if this had worked out in a different way. And I am kicking myself and wondering why it is that I consider myself a prepper and I made this many glaring mistakes. So with that said, I need to point out a few things. I'm not here beating myself up over this. This is a teachable moment for me. This is something that I can look back on and go, hey, you remember that time? And this experience was the lesson that I'm gonna look back on and go, we're not going to let this happen again. So learning from my mistakes, my advice to you in situations like this is, 1, don't get so wrapped up in your big projects that you let the little ones fall by the wayside. The little things are just as important as the big things. If you need to buy a case of water, maybe stop worrying about stockpiling giant crates of storable food and go get a case of water. One is not necessarily more important than the other. Number two, while you're working on building new things for your preps, don't forget to perform maintenance on your old things. Everything breaks down over time, and sometimes you just have to revisit that, spend a little time fixing it, and get your things in order. Otherwise, when the time comes and you need it, it's not going to be there. Number three, just because you had a major screw up, it doesn't mean it's the end. It just means that it's a jumping off point to start over again and fix what you messed up. And last of all, learn from your mistakes and work to do better next time. It's not the end. As long as everybody's okay and you and yours were able to emerge from it, that's a good day. There are definitely people right now that are doing a whole lot worse than you are. So thanks for sticking with me, even through all of my mistakes. And I hope that this video provided a little bit of encouragement and a little bit of education in a tough time. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so that you can be notified of all of our upcoming videos. Also, take a second to leave a comment down below. Comments are the #1 element in the YouTube algorithm that lets people know this video is worthwhile. And if you feel so inclined and want to help out the channel in a big way, check out our Amazon wish list in the description box down below. We put a few items on there of all different price ranges that you can send us either to just help us out with our adventures or things that we can test in a video. And if you tell us who you are, you will get a proper thank you in the accompanying video. So that's it for another video. Thank you so much for taking a few minutes to sit down and watch this. It means the world to me that you would consider spending even just a few minutes with me. And always remember to prepare for the world that you live in, not the one you wish existed. We'll see you next time.